Fellas, say goodbye to Chuck Sherman the boy. I am now a man. I highly recommend you join the club. We are doing the wild thing all night.
Acid house music.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Sherm.
Sherman, I cooked all this food. Is that all you gonna eat?
General Sherman realized and understood the importance of house music.
So, do you know anything about techno?
No.
Listen.
Get it on.
Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome back to another brand new episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm, of course, your host, Sherm, and today is Wednesday, June 30th, 2021. This is episode 167, and it is without a doubt one of the most significant interviews yet. I am honored to have Chicago legend Dani Deahl on the show, and it was such a blast doing this in person live at the Moxy Hotel in downtown Chicago. Dani is a multi-hyphenate who has cut her teeth in the industry as a DJ, producer, journalist, editorial director, and has recently been elected as the president of the Recording Academy's Chicago chapter. Needless to say, she's one of the most notable leaders in the music industry and has worked extremely hard to get to where she is today. We had so many great conversation topics in episode 167. Of course, one of the main topics was Chicago. Born and raised in Chicago, Dani has firsthand seen and been part of the impact the city has made on a local and global scale. We chatted about her early warehouse rave days in the 90s, house music influence on today's generation, and the incredible amount of diversity and industry camaraderie that exists here. Side note, I drink a Chicago handshake, which is Malort and old style, to prove my commitment to the city. You'll have to watch to see my reaction. We also talked about the Dani perspective. As someone who is deeply involved in both the creative and business sides of the music industry, Dani has a particularly unique perspective on virtually every topic in the game. We discuss her experiences and point of view on topics like women in EDM, the pandemic, succeeding as an independent artist, and so much more. We also had a great conversation on how to get involved and give back to the music community. Dani gives back in so many ways and is passionate about spreading the word on how people can make a meaningful impact in music. She gave us a breakdown on her goals as president of the Chicago chapter's Recording Academy, changing the status quo for women in the LGBTQ community in music, and how to best contribute to the music economy. I know I was fired up when we were talking about some of this stuff, and I hope you guys are too. Dani has been on the Sherm in the Booth guest list since day one, and I can't begin to tell you how much this interview means to me. There are many reasons why I look up to her, but the biggest is because she genuinely loves what she does, and her voice rings loud in the music community. Thank you so much to the Moxy Hotel, the Music Trust, Dynasty Podcast, and of course the attendees for helping make this such an amazing experience. Dani, you're the best, and I've got so much love and respect for you. Let's get into it right now so you guys can watch me take a Chicago handshake for yourselves. This is episode 167 with Dani Deahl.
Should we start with a little stand-up comedy right now? Kind of feeling it right now. What's the deal with airplanes, huh? What's the deal with TSA? You guys got global entry? I know Dani's got global entry. People need to do it.
Expire though. I've got to get back on that.
Yeah. I'm a little. I don't work for Chase, but if you guys get Chase Sapphire Reserve, it's free TSA pre-check. Maya, is that correct?
Yes, we're global entry. Okay. There's no other worthwhile card on the market except for the Chase Sapphire Reserve.
That's fact.
It's the only
Thank you for
one.
coming today. That's all we have to say.
Thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
The cool thing with that too is if you lose your phone, I lost my phone multiple times, they give you a $500 check straight up.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Every single time.
They have so many
if you
bits
buy
of
it,
travel
I bought
insurance.
all my college furniture on that. When we went in at a party, they gave us a refund for everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
American just lost our luggage on a trip last week, and they reimbursed us.
That's nice.
I'm still waiting on a check from American.
That's impressive, though. I flew Spirit for the first time
I'm
recently.
sorry.
We thought literally all the luggage was going to come out. Like, we landed and it was like... Now I hear my males have a very low sound there. I was very concerned. In fact, everybody started looking at each other like, I think the luggage is going to fall out and it's really going to hurt, but we're all in this together.
So wait, how many extra things did you wind up paying for on your Spirit flight?
What a scam.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I was like, wow, $200 to Myrtle Beach? No problem. That sounds pretty good, round trip. Oh, 45 bucks for the seat. Oh, 45 bucks for the suitcase. I think we're gonna split, and we did. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you
Not
have
a
to
good
pay
deal.
to print out your ticket when you get to the airport.
Yeah, it's not a good deal.
No.
You know what? What? Don't fly
have
Spirit. Get a Chase Sapphire Preserve.
Reserve. Yeah. We have a Spirit Defender in the audience. It looks like
Who's?
you. Yeah, I see him.
Yeah, oh yeah. I packed 5 outfits here, like laptop, headphones, everything. Set. Spirit.
Good.
Tiny seats, but I'm a tiny guy. So.
Tiny seats, tiny guy. Let me just get a cocktail. Then you're good to go, right?
See, you just sounded super Chicago there too.
God damn it, Danny.
Cocktail.
I said camera, cocktail. Really wasn't intentional. Anyway, I did want to start up with a stand-up comedy joke. Just kidding. That's the last joke. Last joke. Guys, thank you so much for coming today. I really appreciate it. Sitting here with legitimately one of my biggest inspirations, and I mean that.
Stop.
I really, though, Danny, I remember 3 years ago, I waited in line for about an hour to introduce myself to you at a DJ meetup, and it was worth it.
Oh, the one, it was in the basement of
Replay.
That's right.
Yep. And I remember that was such a weird, not a weird time for me, but it feels weird how long ago it was. Because you know Haley House, who now lives in Los Angeles.
Oh, do I know Haley
And
House?
I had just interviewed her, and I was like, this is a perfect, warm intro.
Mm-hmm.
I can go up to Danny and say, hey, I just interviewed Haley House. You know her. So nervous, little half-Jewish guy walking up to Dani Deahl, like trying to be a podcaster. You know, that was like 3 years ago. And this is episode 166, guys. Pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the Moxy Hotel. Shout out to these people who are so confused at what's going on. How you doing?
Just give him another
What's your
round,
name?
It'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm looking at you. What's your name? It's okay. Ann? I'm Katie. Katie?
Is that DJ Sure?
Yeah. No, somebody told you to say that.
No, guys, I have that too. Like,
Did you?
Oh!
wow.
All right. That's pretty cool. I am famous.
Now it's someone else's chance to get a DJ meet and greet with you.
Yeah. That's right. Now somebody's gonna wait in line for an hour to talk to me.
That backfired in the best way possible.
It really did, yeah. Dug myself a hole, and that lady brought me out. Thank you so much, Katie. I already forgot her name.
Yeah, Katie.
No,
It's Katie.
Katie, not Ann. Sorry, that was like, that's fine. I get it mixed up. But really though, Danny, thank you so much for coming today. It means so much. You're probably one of the busiest people in general, and well, I'm really excited about this. It means a lot.
me too.
Yeah, you're excited too?
Of course I am.
Hell yeah. Let's get a cheers really quick. Everybody in the crowd. That's
Wow,
right.
That's a fancy glass. I like it.
It is that's why I got it. I thought it looked a little better for camera. I had a beer and I was like, I'm gonna get a whiskey. That's good. That's right.
My best friend.
That's right. But really, Danny, when I say you're one of my biggest inspirations, I mean that. And it's for one simple reason. There's a lot of reasons, but you've called yourself a multi-hyphenate in the past before.
Yeah.
And yes, I did my research, by the way. So I'm just gonna get that out of the way right now.
I'm so glad we get to skip over some of this. This is nice.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna ask where you're from. We know you're from. We're in Chicago right now. You're a true Chicagoan, but you're a multi-hyphenate, and that's someone who's skilled professional at many things. And I'm not nearly as skilled as Dani, but she inspires me because she's a DJ, producer, journalist, editorial director, blogger, newly elected president of the Recording Academy of Chicago's chapter. Let's go. That's amazing. And that's just the professional side. She's also a badass wife. She's also a Chicagoan and a lover of creative arts and music.
And cats.
And cats, and oh, I'm so glad you said that. I almost forgot. I wore my dog socks.
Those are amazing.
Those are my dogs. That's Fiona and Lola.
Wait, your actual dogs?
Actual dogs, yeah.
Get out.
Shout out to my girlfriend Maya. We came with the idea to give me, my brother, and my dad dog socks. My dad wears them so much, it's almost freaky. It's like 3-4 times a week. And I know my mom is not doing that much laundry these days, so.
Wow, I need to pick up my game. I need crouton socks.
Yeah,
ASAP,
your
like
cat's name is
yesterday.
Crouton?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty famous cat.
I mean, she's alright. She runs my Twitch.
Yeah?
She's my mod on Twitch. Yeah.
I love that. I'd like to get my golden retrievers a little involved, but they're not nearly as smart as cats. Yeah.
But they love you.
They do love me. Yeah, my mom sends me pictures. Actually, I can bring it up right now, but it's literally one of my dogs looking at her like this. Like, what are you doing, Lola? I'm not sure. Is it time for dinner again? Nope. But anyway, like I said, Dani is a very famous Chicagoan. We're going to take a trip down memory lane. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
What is your favorite venue in Chicago that you played that's no longer around?
I mean, okay, I think there's probably at least one person here that can answer this for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do you think it is? Close. Close. That's a second.
Mid's an all-time classic.
It is a Evil Olive.
Oh, yeah.
Played last weekend.
No, you didn't. No. Evil Olive.
Yes.
Some good times there.
I mean, good. Memorable.
What night of the week was the best night to be at Evil Olive?
Please, everyone in unison. Monday.
Mondays.
Mondays.
Probably we'd be pre-gaming after this to go to Evil Olive.
That's
if it
right.
was still around.
Yes.
I miss that place so much. I had some hilarious times there too.
Oh, really? What was your most hilarious time?
Okay,
at Evil
Dani,
Olive?
I'm interviewing you. Don't. Yeah. Okay. Good one. But. I have had a lot of good times there, and I've had so many people on the podcast. Don Brown, Fi, your husband, of course.
Yeah.
People that really were able to, I mean, for lack of a better term, blow their careers up because of the Evil Olive. I mean,
look, all the props to Evil Olive because
Yeah.
they let us be professional degenerates in a way that no respectable nightclub would ever allow us to do it in the same way. It just would not happen again. I feel so bad when I think back to all of the parties that we threw for the janitorial staff.
The janitorial staff? Wow.
Yes, for management, we ruined that venue every Monday night. And they were okay with it. Like if there was a Lawrence of Arabia theme, we would put sand on the floor.
That is gross. Yeah, it's like a frat basement.
You had to do it. They did one where it was Blade themed. Do you remember the blood rave from Blade?
Of course.
So they took garden hose and they poked holes all along the garden hose, ran it over the top of the dance floor, and fed red dyed water through it to replicate the blood rave. This was the kind of stuff that we did every single week. And that place was standing and somehow did not burn down.
Yeah, I don't know. It was unbelievable. Yeah. That's probably a great answer. Can we give a massive shout out though to the Mid once again, but also Excalibur?
Woo!
And where you've had some of your previous residencies, Le Passage, Sushi Samba.
Oh wow.
Joy Blue, Cherry Red. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. I really did do my research.
You really did.
Yeah, I went deep.
Yeah, I got my first residency was Cherry Red. Was it called Cherry Red? Cherry Red, Joy Blue.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was so long ago. But so I lied to get in the door. I was with a group of people. They were like, "Oh, we know the general manager," and I was like, "I'm totally 21." Totally wasn't. And I told the manager, I said, "Look, I will come and I'll DJ for you for free. And if you like it, then you can pay me to come back again."
There you go.
Yeah, and
Smart.
it worked out. And that was actually my first residency for the first year or two of my professional DJ
So
career.
how old were you at that point? Because you played your
Like
first
17.
gig at 17, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. And you were just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to walk in and figure this out.
Yeah.
What a different time in Chicago, too, though.
I mean, sure, you could probably do that now.
You think? Yeah, you might be able to.
Yeah. I mean, there are plenty of venues where you can just walk in through the back door. Nobody's checking anything.
That's right.
Yeah. We're not naming names, but they're out there.
We're
We
not
love
naming
them.
names. They're out there. Chicago's still the same in a lot of different ways. So one thing I, of course, want to bring up with you, and it's Chicago in many different ways, but Chicago house music and the culture that it started. Before we really get into the roots, where we're at right now with house music is a very, very special time because I've been a passionate house music fan for, probably since I started DJing. The first electronic music song that I really remember loving was Brazil by Deadmau5. And that was more deep house, but it was still house music at its core, and I wanted to expand upon that.
I'm going to give you some breadth on that definition of deep house, but sure.
True. Well, what would you melodic house? What would you call Brazil?
Yeah, melodic house.
Well, that was my high school self thinking this is house music, or somebody telling me this is house music at least. But at least I started with dead mouse and not something way more intense, or what a lot of my friends started with, which was, no offense, but dubstep, which is pretty intense.
I love dubstep.
I love dubstep too, but I couldn't start with that. Couldn't get into it. Wasn't like, okay, yeah, I love rap music, but I also love dubstep.
I love it all.
You love it all? That's true.
I love it all.
You do love it all. You do love it all. But it's so crazy because I feel like since I've gotten into electronic music, at least, especially as a podcaster, I've interviewed so many different types of musicians, people in front of the scenes, behind the scenes, on the stage, all that stuff. And now I'm seeing house music bigger than ever. I mean, you just opened up for Fisher and Chris Lake in Arizona. It looks like an incredible show. I think a lot of people forget Chris Lake made Boneless with Tujamo and Steve Aoki.
Right.
Which was a huge song and really redefined a whole new style of music.
Yeah.
It's taken a long time for him to get where he's at right now, which is doing a massive show.
Yeah.
Why do you think house music is bigger than ever before right now?
That's a really good question. I will say also, as a house lover, this is my only tattoo.
Yeah.
And that is the acapella from Mojo's Lady Hear Me Tonight.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was the first record I decided to buy for myself when I said I'm going to be a DJ.
Wow.
And so I made the acapella version of it. I separated it, and that's the line where they say, I feel love for the first time. Because I felt like that.
It's amazing.
That would always be true for me. I was always hesitant on getting a tattoo because I thought, what if things fluctuate? I'm not the same person in 10 years. But that to me would never change. I feel love for the first time. I would always feel that about house music. And so it's the only ink on my body. That said,
amazing.
I feel like everything is cyclical. Music, and we also have to recognize that house music that was popular, that came out of here 20, 30, 40 years ago even, is not the same music that we're listening to now, right? You can't even really compare like Honey Dijon, for example, to John Summit.
Yeah.
Those are technically, those both fall into the same bucket of house music, but they're not the same artists. I mean, the same that you might find Charlie XCX and Fall Out Boy on the same radio station. They're both pop music, but are they the same genre? Absolutely not, right? So we're seeing another version, another iteration of house music come about. It's interesting because I didn't think that this would be the next genre to hit it big.
Yeah.
I really thought we were going to see a resurgence of big room or electro before we saw soulful or melodic or tropical house come back. Yeah. Especially because we had the whole Kygo wave, and I was like over that, and I feel like a lot of people.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I didn't want to say that.
So I mean, I really don't know why people's sentiments are going that way, but it feels like people are going toward it harder than ever because a lot of those songs are on the cusp of being big or should have been big last year, and the opportunity was missed.
Yeah.
And so everybody is going back into it 10 times harder. Like they love the songs 10 times more than they did last year, and it's accelerating the popularity.
So true.
I'm not mad at that.
No, I'm not mad at that either. And like I said, I mean, maybe our definitions of house, or at least the younger version of myself, is much different. You can call me out later for that and make me take a shot of Malort.
Why?
I don't know why I just did that to myself. That was so stupid.
You just committed. If they have it here,
they do. I saw it. It's been making eye contact with me all night, actually.
It's okay. I'm just gonna say when you are taking a shot of Malort in an hour, it's not my fault.
All right. So far, I'm getting interviewed. It feels like a little bit. That's okay though. That's okay. I feel like my perspective too. Just I'm about to be 29 years old. Still have a lot to learn about music, but I feel like my generation, at least millennials, we got into the electro, the progressive, the big room. We wanted to keep going to the festivals. I'm hungover for 4 days sometimes these days. I can't do it like I used to, but I still love having a good time. But when I go to house music events and house music festivals, I don't have to headbang or jump up and down the entire time. I can go to a 3-day movement festival.
Speak for yourself. When I was in Arizona 3 weeks ago, I was out until the sun came up.
Maybe I just suck. I know other people get hungover like I do, all right?
No, I mean, I was hungover, but there's some mechanism in me where if I have to go the next day, then I'm like, okay, you only got 3 hours of sleep, but it doesn't matter. I'm like a shark, right? You just keep moving because if you stop, you die. So that's the mentality I have. You just keep going.
Like I said, I have a lot to learn. But it's just been really interesting because I have a lot of friends that were so into that type of music, and now they're just like, actually, I just want to dance. I don't want to jump. And I think...
So what's your opinion on fan clappers?
Fan clackers, I fucking hate them with a passion. In fact, you know what? While I'm on the topic of fan clappers, I don't like when the smoke comes out because I can't hear the drop.
Oh, I love that. Really? Wait, is this something people have feelings about?
Ever since I saw Loud,
Yep.
Yep. And I couldn't hear the part I wanted to hear the drop. The whole time.
That's been my experience as well.
Interesting.
I like the visual, but I hate not hearing.
Yeah, CO2.
I love CO2.
This is interesting
Can't
though,
hear the
because maybe
song.
from my perspective, I'm not hearing it from the crowds. I have the monitors on blast the entire time,
you
so
can
I
hear
don't
it.
get anything drowned out. Interesting.
People are hitting the fan clackers, and I'm getting sprayed with CO2. God, I sound like such a bitch. I have got... Maybe I should get that shot of Malort right now. Yeah, let's get it done.
I didn't say it either.
I got to sack up right now. We're like 10 minutes into this shit, and I already just... Okay. Let's do better, Matt. Anyway, Dani, so I think it's been so cool because you have a really unique perspective on Chicago house. I mean, you started going to raves in the 90s in Chicago, and that was shortly after it really was birthed. I mean, there's a legendary venue that's not here anymore, but the building is still there, the warehouse down there, next to the former Al's Beef, Great Al's Beef.
Yep.
But when I go there, and I stood there recently, and I made my girlfriend go there, and she was like, what is this place? It's a law firm? And I'm like standing there looking at it, I'm like, I can smell Frankie Knuckles' sweat.
Have you gotten a picture with the sign, with the street sign?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great,
and I
isn't
just,
it?
like, now that I've gotten so much more into house music and interview people like Ghetto Blaster, who are like so pivotal, and just know exactly what happened, and I think it's really cool because you were part of that scene.
Oh yeah, no, I spent many afternoons and evenings at Paul's house in Indiana. When I was in college. Making music with him.
Yeah. It's it's so cool because there's still so many OGs here. Gene Ferris, of course, who I know you're good friends with. Green Velvet, Lee Foss.
Yep.
And then there's the OGs, of course. I mentioned Frankie Knuckles, Ron Hardy, Chippy, Farley, Jack Master Funk. Like, those are guys that, like, I want to educate people like here, and you guys might know who they are. But they're, oh my God, I looked at the shot of Malort. Is that a chaser? What is? Old Chicago handshake. Heyo. All right.
I've never heard that before, but that's hilarious.
You never heard Chicago handshake?
No.
Am I having more Chicago moment than you right now?
Yeah, I think you are.
We're gonna wait on that. Give me 1 sec. Let's not right now. Let me
Also,
I had a great
bless
question.
you for only bringing up one shot of Malort.
Bless you, Maya. This is pretty good stand-up comedy right now. I feel like it's not bad. Anyway, I got totally off track there. Thank you, Maya. I just think it's so cool because I want to educate people like my younger brother, who's 3 years younger than me, and he loves house music, but he doesn't know where it came from. What's your perspective on the time when it was in the mid-90s into 2000s, got shipped off to Europe and came back?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we all know the story. When house music started, it was for a lot of political reasons. It was for socioeconomic reasons. I think that dance music at its core is political.
Yeah.
And do I think that it's important that somebody understand the history of house music in order to truly appreciate and understand it? Probably not. That's me standing on a hill, and I don't know that that's the hill that I want to die on. But I think if you choose to allow yourself to be educated about the depth of history that comes from this niche genre of dance music, you are opened up to so much emotion, so much history, so much lineage that comes from not just this city, but from Detroit, from all of these places around the country that have contributed to this narrative that allows us to go to a place like Arizona to a 10K cap to experience Chris Lake and Fisher, but that wouldn't have happened if it were not for the people that did events and made music that created safe spaces for folks that were not welcome in traditional outlets at the time. Like, we stand on the backs of Black folks, of Hispanic folks, of the LGBTQ community. Like, we would not be here having this discussion if it were not for them.
So true. And I know you had a real personal connection to the rave scene because when you were in high school, you were a bit of an outcast, and that was really where you found who you are, your identity, would you say?
Yeah. And the first time I went to a rave, one of the first people that I ran into was my bully from grade school.
No way.
Yeah, wearing fairy wings.
We're unlocking some memories tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Plur.
That's insane. Yeah, plur, bro. That's awesome. And that's what it's all about, and I see that more and more these days. You mentioned sort of the musical elements, and I want to get into the production side of that. If you look at Chicago house music, it's piano, it's soulful vocals, and then you can't forget about Detroit. These were really coming together at the same time. Detroit, I mentioned movement. This is dark, this is deep, this is lots of percussion. And when you go to these shows, you feel something, right? It's a musical element, creates that visceral experience. What are some of your favorite parts of those styles of music that really help create that environment?
Oh, interesting. Are we talking Detroit? Are we talking Chicago?
Whatever, both, yeah. I like both of them.
Could you restate the question and narrow it down?
Yes. Basically, I'm saying that within each genre of music, there are musical elements that help create the visceral experience, whether it be the bass line, the vocals.
Drums. 100% drums. Yeah, no, I love snares and any drum that sits in the mid to upper range. I love really complicated fills.
Yeah.
I've always been a drum person. I love tribal house. I still have all of my vinyl. Like old era Robbie Rivera was my jam.
Wow, Robbie Rivera. I haven't heard that name in too long.
Yeah. That is what I love. Like a great melody, a great top line, that's nice, but good shuffled drums will get me every single time.
Yes, I agree. Percussion's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Because bass lines, for the most part, are pretty simple. 3 to 4 MIDI notes, and you get the movement in there. I mean, I make songs with this guy all the time, and I try and overcomplicate the process a lot. And he tells me, he's like, dude, it's all about the percussion, baby.
Dude, we all do.
We all do.
He's on my stream a lot. You know, one of the pieces of feedback I give to most people is, like, stop overthinking it.
Yeah.
Take stuff out. Yeah.
It's easy to overthink it too, right?
Oh, 100%. Especially because you're listening to the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, that's right. You're not sure if it's good anymore. Disclosure did an incredible Twitch stream where they shared how they made F for You, which is one of my favorite house music songs of all time. And I think his name is Guy. I can't remember. I believe it was Guy. And he was running through his Logic project. He had no bought plugins. He was using all Apple installed. And he was like, well, I was actually trying to impress people a lot with this, but I guess this is all I did.
Literally.
Yeah, and I'm like...
Most people that I talk to, their hit song was made in an afternoon.
So true.
Because you get into flow state, and then you stop overthinking stuff, and you stop trying to tune your fucking snare for an hour.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm talking about. And you just focus on getting the gist of the song, the emotion of the song out, and the rest of it can wait for later.
Yeah. I'm blanking on his name right now, and I can't believe that, but on your... Future of Music that you did on The Verge, did an interview, the producer...
Oakfelder?
Yes, Oakfelder, thank you. And the whole entire conversation you have with him is based upon the fact that he makes his music on the run, on his laptop, and he doesn't have to use this world-class studio.
Yeah, no, he just uses Logic.
Straight up.
We have the same studio monitors, him and me.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, I don't even know if he has those on books or anything. Like, he's just like doing his thing.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I think when you try and become a producer, you're like, I have to be in the studio, I have to be able to EQ everything, I have to have all the volume levels, but you don't.
It's nice.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was playing on Twitch the other night, and I was digging back into some old Bloghouse stuff and bringing up some really old Felix Cartel remixes, and it banged. Like, it's so good. Like, this stuff from 10, 12 years ago, and I could play it in a set now, and it would still sound contemporary. Yeah. So there's 100% value in knowing your tools and knowing how to engineer and knowing how to master, but the burden, I think, of a lot of dance music producers is that we are taught, whether it's by looking at what other people are doing online or just by school of thought, that we have to do everything nose to tail. We have to be the ones that come up with the idea. We have to be the ones that put the polish on it at the end.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. Like, you shouldn't have to do all of that. Like, cool, know your tools, but there is value in handing off your track to another set of ears that can look at it objectively and make changes that you wouldn't know how to do.
Completely agree, and I've had a lot of good conversations on the topic of the music economy. A lot of people can come up with the idea, whether it be a collaboration with somebody else to finish. Some people are really good at mastering. Some people are really good at starting tracks. Some people are really good at percussion.
Yeah.
And some people are really good at helping with distribution. You don't have to do it all on your own.
Some people are really good at being conductors, and they don't even need to know the technical parts of the process, but they know what needs to be changed in a track.
Yep. And we all should be getting paid for the things that we're good at, guys. Don't forget that, okay? Find out what you're good at. Market that. Market that. So, Dani, we're talking about live shows that you've been killing. She played this sick show, by the way, at Offshore.
Oh my God.
And it looks so dope. Open for...
It is going to be the venue of the summer.
Yeah.
Not even kidding.
How was it?
Oh, I was so... The reason why I wore my sunglasses during my set was because I was so nervous.
You were nervous?
Yeah, because I haven't played an event where I was eye level with the crowd.
Right, they're there.
For a really long time.
Yeah.
And it was daytime, and it was hot, and so I was like, I don't know how I'm going to look by the end of this.
Yeah.
But no, it was amazing. That venue, 100%, every Thursday, you all should be there. It is super fucking cool. It's at the tail end of Navy Pier on the rooftop, so you get views of the lake almost 360 around you, and then the main part where they have the DJ booth is encased in glass. So you feel like you're in a greenhouse on top of Navy Pier. And it's house music every Thursday. Like, that place is so busy all the time.
Yeah.
They couldn't even get it for weekends. They were like, nah, we're good. But you can have Thursdays.
I think it's North America's largest outdoor bar, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Chicago, baby. That's pretty cool, though.
That was amazing.
But that was one of your first live shows back in a year and a half, and for so many other people, we're looking to get opportunities, we're looking to get label releases, everybody's hungry right now.
Yep.
But I believe there's a lot to learn from the past year and a half, a lot of silver linings from the pandemic. You hate the silver linings?
No, I hate framing the pandemic in terms of silver linings, because I think there are a lot of folks that did not have silver linings.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think there are a lot of people, like, the fact that even though I went through a lot of really horrible shit last year, a lot of private shit that people don't know about, it wasn't like I was on the verge of losing my home. It wasn't like I was forced into a job where I had to interface with people every day that were yelling at me because they thought that wearing a mask was political, for example, right? Like, there were certain things that I was afforded in my life that allowed me to just burrow in and get through. But there are so many people out there where 2020, there was no silver lining. It just fucking sucked. Like, and I think that just accepting that shit sucked last year is fine. Like, that's totally okay. And rather than silver lining, I think it's better. I think silver lining, for me, I guess the TLDR is, I think it's like a privileged thing to say. Like, for you to be able to say, like, there was a silver lining to the pandemic.
True.
So I think it's better, for at least for me, to say, like, you know, how did I grow individually, or like, how did I change? How do I behave differently in 2021 versus when this all started?
Yeah.
And like, there was a tweet that I put up the other day, and actually he saw it. And I was like, you know, there's a few things that I'm going to change going forward. You know, one of them is like, I'm going to ask if I'll wait for this to pass.
Hello, Chicago.
Like, one of those things was, from now on, of course it's going to get louder now. Great.
We are downtown Chicago at the Moxy Hotel. It's a fire station right next door.
Is there really?
Yeah, it's right down there.
Oh. Yeah. Well, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, from now on, I'm going to make sure to ask people if they want a hug before I give them a hug. Just little things like that. If somebody does not get back to me, I'm not going to take it personally. Because 9 times out of 10, they're probably going through some pretty intense shit in their life, and they don't have the bandwidth to get back to me. It has nothing to do with me or what I bring to the table emotionally.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that there are, like, ways that I grew as a person, but I wouldn't call that a silver lining.
Absolutely, and I love that perspective too. And I appreciate you maybe opening my mind to that, because I guess I do have a job. I have a day job, and I know that was honestly I was able to really hunker down and focus on that, and it gave me the balance in my life because right before the pandemic, I played like the biggest gig I'd ever had at the Aragon opening for Galantis, and I was like, boom, we're good. I'm quitting my job. This is it. No, like I needed that perspective because during the pandemic for me, I spent more time with my girlfriend. I hung out with my family so much more. I got to know really who I am and my long-term goals. And with the podcast as well, I was able to expand my footprint on a global level because I love doing in-person interviews, but there's so much more to learn out there. And without that, I may not have gotten that perspective. So I do resonate with what you're saying, man, for real.
Yeah, I mean, and for me, it was pretty much the opposite. I lost family.
Yeah.
I lost work. My world became very, very small.
Yeah.
For a long time, and in a way that I've never had to contend with before.
Yeah.
It was really difficult.
I'm sorry to hear that. I appreciate you being honest about that.
Yeah.
That's tough. And I think a lot of people experience pandemic in a different way. And I guess now I'm just glad to be doing these types of things in person again and sharing our stories and being honest about what happened, right?
Yeah.
Because we are a community.
For sure. I mean, even being here in person, every time I enter a building without a mask, I am at once in the state of bewilderment. But also it feels like no time has passed at all.
Yeah.
Both of those emotions coexist at the same time.
So true.
Which is really weird.
I think we're probably all feeling that a little bit right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I literally still walk out the door. I'm vaccinated, and every time I go somewhere, I'm like, well, I think I'm going to bring my mask because I'm just so used to that. It's like a life I'm more used to than being normal again.
Yeah, the week after the CDC lifted everything and they said, okay, if you're vaccinated, do all the things. So I told Fi, I was like, okay, we should probably take a walk around the neighborhood because you haven't interacted with anyone over the past year except literally me and hospital staff. So you should probably learn what it's like to just be around people again. And he was such a space cadet. We were walking on the sidewalk and he didn't have a mask on and he still wanted to avoid all the people that were walking by us. And I was like, five, like focus up. Come on, like I had to stop. He was almost walking into light posts. Like,
wow.
Yeah, it was overwhelming for him.
And, I mean, he's a pretty interpersonal guy, too. Like, he knows how to talk to people. That's wild. Is he good now?
He's getting there. Yeah. I took him to prison when I played the other
he looked like he was having a great time.
Oh, he had a good time.
I sent him some videos when I played, too, and he was like, I got the itch.
Oh, he yelled at me the next day. He was like, why did you make me take 4 shots of Malort? I'm like, I did no such thing. You made some poor choices. That's not on me.
Oh, marriage sounds fun. I love that. Now, Dani, one of the main reasons as well why you're so inspiring to me is because you're truly self-made. You've literally organized your own tour. Show Me Your Kitties, correct? And can we just acknowledge how great of a tour name that is? Show Me Your Kitties? Unbelievable. You pitched an article to URB a long time ago, and that was your first opportunity to get a freelance job.
Yep.
You also worked your way up to becoming the president of the Recording Academy Chicago chapter,
yes.
right? That's something you've done on your own, develop relationships. You also said in an interview, it costs nothing to be nice, and it doesn't. What would be your advice to me and a lot of the people here who are trying to build their name?
Yeah, one of the things that I said in my TED Talk, which will always resonate, I think, forever. This timeless advice is if you are faced with an opportunity and you might be scared to ask. I mean, we're all in those positions, right? Like, you were nervous to come and talk to me about DJ.
I'm nervous to talk to you right now.
But regardless of whether you're nervous or you're scared or you think maybe you're not qualified enough or whatever the hindrances are in your head that are trying to prevent you from getting to that opportunity, shush them for a moment and make the ask. Because if you don't open your mouth and if you don't make the ask, you will never know if that answer could have been yes. The answer could be no, but you will never know if you don't speak up if the answer could have been yes. And to me, that is truly powerful, is just knowing how to speak up for yourself, knowing how to just talk, communicate, build trustworthy relationships, and make the ask. I mean, truly, it's a practice. You have to practice doing it. It doesn't come easy overnight.
No.
It doesn't. But you would be surprised how far you can get simply by asking the question. That's it.
Yeah. I love that. Simple advice, but there's so much truth to it.
No, yeah, it's true. I mean, most of the opportunities I've gotten in life have really not been because somebody opened a door for me, but because I came knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slid in the DM. She literally has built herself up, guys, and it's incredibly impressive. I want to acknowledge you that. For real.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Thank you. Great crowd.
I mean, another really great example, the remix I did on Armada of Ping Pong.
Yes.
That was unsolicited.
Was it?
Yeah. I was having a shitty day, so I went to SoundCloud and I was listening to that song and I realized in the breakdown that sound is isolated. It goes to complete silence and then it's just, so I resampled it. I took the one instance, rewrote the melody, made the track in an afternoon just to get my mind off of all the shitty stuff that was going on that day. And I was like, oh, you know what, this isn't half bad. So I hit up the guys at Armada, and they signed it a week later, and they made it official. It's the one and only twerk song that's ever been released on Armada.
I remember Ping Pong, the Dani Deahl twerk remix.
Yeah.
Premiered at Evil Lalo.
Probably.
That actually is such a dope remix, though.
Thank you.
I like it,
Armada was, I mean, the fans were not happy.
What is this?
Yeah.
Was that good? That wasn't good.
Twerk and trap fans were happy, but the diehard Armada fans were not happy. That was really cool because that remix in particular, it got such global reach. That was the first time where I had like dance crews in Korea that were making choreographed videos to the song, and it was really cool to see how it touched all of these people's lives, literally in every corner of the planet.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Every corner of the planet. That's Armada, baby. Twerking.
Twerking.
Were the Koreans twerking? Were the Asians twerking?
Oh yes.
That is.
I'll show it to you after the interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. God, that Malort shot just looked at me.
I mean, you said it. Now you have to do it.
Right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Malort face.
Okay, guys. Drum roll. Chicago handshake.
I feel bad. It's really
Just wait. You know it kicks in like 3 to 5 seconds afterward.
And we're back. God. I was not supposed to. I was going to say, oh, God. And then edit that out later, but we're not going to be able to do that. That's okay. Switching
You held
topics.
it together pretty well.
It's actually kind of a weirdly good taste. Like a little bit of gasoline, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you like
when
that.
have you ever been like, you know what I could really go for right now? A little bit of gasoline.
Okay, well, like, I awkwardly like the smell of an indoor pool, and I know there are people that like the smell of gasoline. Isn't that true? Is that true? It's all right. It's all right?
It's all right.
That's mids, bro. Yeah, no, I know, yeah. All right, well, God damn it. That shit just brought something weird out of me. That's okay. Anyway, Dani, I was listening to your interview with Willie Joy.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Who's also, like, he's like doing what I'm trying to do on a much larger level. I listened to every single one, and I loved your interview with him. It had so many great topics, and there was one thing that really stuck out to me, and it's something that you gave me an incredible perspective on. It's you don't like the term personal brand. Why is that?
Because I think it decouples you from being a human being.
Yeah.
And I think that there's marketing around aspects maybe of your personality or things that you like. And
right.
Everyone knows I like bacon and I like cats, so cool. I'm going to lean on that.
I can get into that, yeah.
Right? But if you call your personality your personal brand, then you're really forgetting who you are, and it takes you out of the moment, it takes you out of your relationships. I think that it makes it so you can't actually have true connections with people in the industry or, frankly, with your fan base.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the truth of it. I think so many people I've learned from, one guy said to me, an artist is the brand and the brand is the business. And I'm like, whew, that's a lot to digest, man, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just a guy who likes house music and I guess shots Malort. But I agree with you, I really do.
No, it's like what? personal brand is that I stand up for equality. Like, no, that's just an ethical pillar that
we're humans.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
We're human.
I'm a
It's
human
really
being,
no
and
more,
that's
no
what I
less.
stand for. That's
Yeah.
it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I really do. And I wanted to ask you that because I think so many people get caught up in trying to...
The brand is the superficial stuff. The brand is
Yeah.
the output. The brand is the
Yeah.
merch. The brand is the flyer, right? That is the brand. But you are not the brand. Like, what's in here is not the brand. And I think that we need to get that straight.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. You mentioned your TED Talk, which I thought was incredibly powerful. I'd seen it before, and I watched it again recently, and I got emotional. I'm not really sure why. I did, because it's staggering that it was 7 years ago, and I feel
it's
like
still relevant.
It's still relevant, and the stats really haven't changed. And for those that haven't watched this, she gave a TED Talk on women, STEM, and EDM, and discussed some of the factors and societal constructs that have created roadblocks for women in dance music. This stat really freaked me out. 93% of recorded dance music is male. That probably hasn't changed. 5% marginally. 5% of ultra music lineup is female. This one was like crazy. Only 2 female DJs in the DJ Mag Top 100.
Yeah, that's also marginally changed.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's crazy to me because I love so many female DJs, and in my head, as someone in the music industry, I'm surprised that it's not more, and I want to know how we can help. How can we change that on a local level, on a national level, on a global level? What do we do?
Well, it's very, for someone like you.
Yeah, give me advice.
Yes. Every white dude should take the opportunity to put on minorities as often as possible.
Yes.
If you know of women artists, POC artists, artists of color, you should be shouting from the rooftop. You should be sharing those people with your friends. You should be including them in playlists. You should be yelling at promoters to book them. All of the things, right?
Yeah.
All of the things. You have access to spaces, whether you know it or not, that I might not have access to, that several folks in the audience might not have access to, just because you look the way you do.
Yeah.
I mean, we just did a panel at Output a couple weeks ago that was called Race in Music, and we had G-Buck and Cruella and Ward Kismet and Spencer Brown talk about their experiences. And G-Buck said that he often goes to festivals where he's booked as one of the headliners, and he goes down to the green room and security asks, "Oh, are you a rapper? What artists are you here with?"
Wow.
And that's just something that he has to stomach and be like, "Nah, man, like I'm on the lineup, you know, like I'm the artist."
That's crazy.
And, you know, and that happens to me a lot too. I go to a show and people are like, "Who are you here with?" Not, you know, like, do you work for the venue? You know, I walk around with like a massive backpack all the time. I'm not like
You're obviously a DJ. Yeah, that's how you know.
I have friends who are women who are managers, and like one of my friends was with I almost said their name, but a big dubstep artist that they manage, and they were at TSA, and the TSA person made a joke because they recognized the artist, and they were like, "Oh, are you his girlfriend?" And not even considering for a second that she could have some part of his business dealings.
Right.
So to that end, I think that if you have a platform, you have a responsibility. I truly believe that. I don't think that we shout into the ether. There is an audience. There's always an audience, no matter if it's big or it's small. And if you have the opportunity to raise up someone who might not have that audience, might not have the opportunity to get that same shine, then it is your responsibility to help open the door for them.
Absolutely, and I got you on that. I always try and have people of different races, ethnicities, whatever it might be, male, female, and that's the thing too. You said, like, I don't want to be known as a female DJ, I want to be known as a DJ who loves being female.
Right.
And I think there's power in that statement because that's the truth.
Yeah, and I think it's a subtle distinction, but I'm not trying to like all lives matter the situation, right?
Yeah.
I'm not like, you know, plur everyone, we just need to like respect one another and we're all human beings. Like, no, I think we need to see each other's differences but not be defined by them. Like, I think it's important for me to be like, I'm a woman who's a DJ, but you should not treat me differently because of it.
Yeah.
My friend is a DJ and he is black, but you should not treat him differently because of it.
Yeah.
But you should recognize that we have different lived experiences.
Yeah.
So.
True.
Yeah.
And I think especially in Chicago too, we mentioned earlier, Chicago house music was built upon framing a safe place for people in the LGBTQ community and also especially in the black space too, to give them a place to be with each other. And
Well, they created that space.
They
so
did. They had to.
Yeah.
They had to.
Yeah.
And my point is that I still feel that today more than ever. And like I love playing in different parts of the city, Boys Town and Lincoln Park and Wicker Park, where there's, and not to talk shit about River North, but I'm going to talk shit about River North. And Clayton over there too, he knows this better than anybody, and we've had a lot of good conversations about this. He's been on the podcast and we discussed that River North has become a gentrified area, and you only get one size fits all there, and it's tough to be a DJ. This guy right here plays a lot of places downtown, and he's only allowed to play certain types of music, and people don't want to come to certain parts because they know they can't be themselves.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I think I'm lucky enough where I'm at the point where I can say no to a lot of things.
Yeah.
So the events that I say yes to are the ones where I know I get to play whatever the fuck I want.
Oh, fucking no. It didn't happen overnight, though.
No.
I think we're all trying to get to that. That's amazing. So you mentioned your productions earlier, Armin van Buuren's Ping Pong. You've also released on Dim Mak. You've also released on Flamingo. But there's one thing I want to bring up really quick, and I think is so cool, is hilarious. Diplo Hates You. I bet a lot of people didn't know about this, but Dani made a song called Diplo Hates You and made a music video with Diplo in it.
Because I asked his management if he would do it. And they said yes.
She emailed them. She emailed them, just like what we talked about earlier. I mean, come on, you got to tell the story. That's incredible.
Wait, do you know the story?
I know the story. Yeah.
Do you?
I do. Yeah, you met him in Las Vegas because he came in the DJ booth, and somebody said you took a picture.
He took a picture.
He
was drunk and started playing around with the effects while I was playing.
Oh, God damn it, Diplo.
But it was hilarious. I was so bewildered and amused by the situation that I kind of just let it happen.
Yeah.
And then I sort of demanded that he take a selfie because I was like, if I'm going to let him do this, I need for this to be documented because no one's going to believe me.
Yeah.
So he takes a photo, and I very distinctly remember it was like an old-ass BlackBerry. And he sends it to me. I still have the selfie. It's awful because he's wasted, so he misses 90% of his face. And it's just the tip of his nose. And then all of me, giddy as hell.
That's so funny.
But he emailed me the photo, and the header of the email was Diplo Hates You.
Yeah.
Said I thought that was really funny, so I was like, I'm gonna make a song out of that.
Yeah.
And we did. And then he was in the video with a gorilla suit and stunner shades.
Yeah, it's a pretty great video. I really recommend you guys check it out. Let's cut to Diplo Hates. Thanks, Suzette. That's my video editor. She's based in South Africa. Massive shout out to Suzette.
Little tidbit. There is a person in that music video who's wearing an astronaut helmet.
I know who it is.
That's Pete Wentz.
Pete Wentz was in this music video too. And that was in 2012, and it's just wild to think like.
Pete Wentz is also like literally the nicest human being because he used to do Vloghouse like back in the day, and I would post his tracks that he did with BB Rexa, and he ran a club night, and he never forgot me. And then when Fall Out Boy came and performed at Wrigley Field when they were doing their last tour, he called me and asked me to open.
God, I was wondering how the fuck you got that gig because it was so cool.
Because Pete asked me to do it. He's the nicest.
It costs nothing to be nice, guys. Once again.
Yeah, literally. And then I remember we were standing in the audience while they were playing back by the sound booth. Like Machine Gun Kelly's like right next to me, and we're right in the sound booth. They go on, and Pete Wentz gives me the biggest shout out, and he's like, "Big ups to my friend Dani for opening up the night." And I started crying. I was like, I'm at Wrigley Field, and Pete Wentz just gave me a shout out on stage. It was magnificent. It was so cool.
That is like the most Chicago
right?
legendary thing. Like, Goals. AF.
So Chicago.
Did you have a Chicago dog? Chicago dog. What, did you hear what I just said? What the hell?
Chicago.
Chicago dag.
Chicago dag.
You have a Chicago dag over there?
Look, we all know the best Chicago hot dogs come from Home Depot.
That's a simple
On
fact.
North
Yeah.
Avenue.
I've actually been there recently. I don't know why I didn't get a Chicago dog. Maya. Next time. I was buying succulents. You like plants, don't you? You like plants and
Yeah,
plants.
I got my husband 3 houseplants for Christmas this past year.
Are they alive? They're doing well?
They are. They're thriving. It's the first time we've had plants, and like not fake plants, like real plants.
So he's
in the
better with
house.
plants than people currently.
And cats, sure. Yeah.
Pi, if you're watching this, which I know you are, come on, we got you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I feel like a lot of people got into plants over the past year and a half, too.
Dude, it was so wild how there were waves of things that sold out, and it always felt kind of unexpected.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sure, toilet paper, right? Like we're all
Right.
looking at necessities, but then bikes, custom bikes were sold out after a
Gone.
really long
Still
time.
are.
Yeah, and then houseplants were a thing that were sold out for a long time. It's interesting to see the waves of demand for certain things.
Humans work in similar ways.
Yes, we do. There's a lot of groupthink.
Oh my gosh. Danny, I want to finish on hearing more about your new position as the Chicago president
Yes.
of the Recording Academy. For those that don't know, the Recording Academy is the group that puts on the Grammys. And I think a lot of people don't actually understand what that is, and I wanted to just
They
get...
don't.
They
Even
don't.
less people know the term NARIS.
It's true. And especially as it relates to dance music culture, I'm trying to remember what you called it. Pre-TET? Is it
Sorry?
Dance music
Yeah.
Grammys are not
Yes.
actually televised still, right?
Oh, yeah, we're pre-tel.
Pre-tel.
Yeah.
Pre-tel. So what are you trying to do as president of the Chicago chapter then?
That's a really big question,
It is.
especially because we're having our first board meeting next week, so I haven't even set an agenda for everyone.
You're
So
going
I'm
to crush this shit. I think we all know that, yeah.
I'm going to try and be broad strokes because I owe it to my board to
Yeah.
set the formal agenda to them first. But part of what I want to do, which I'm following in very important footsteps, by the way. The person who was president before me was Jay Ivey, who is one of the most prolific spoken word artists that we have in the city, and he was the first spoken word president in the history of the Recording Academy. And he cares very deeply about his work. And also, because he's a spoken word artist, he always gave the most amazing speeches and monologues at our meetings.
So good.
So I'm a little afraid. But I want to bring that same level of care that he did and the same lens of trying to bring up underrepresented communities and make them want to care and to be involved and to show them that it is actually possible to change an entity that a lot of people believe is a dinosaur in some respects.
I think recently a lot of people disrespect the Grammys because of, I think, The Weeknd. He didn't get nominated or
It had
whatever.
nothing to do with the weekend. People
was
made the
it?
correlation. I can't
think
speak to.
I'm uneducated about it.
Yeah,
That's the
I can't
thing.
speak to any of it, but all I can say is that it was an unfortunate correlation that the weekend said things that he
Very
did,
presidential of you.
But we've been working really hard for the past few years to diversify this chapter in general because it's called the Chicago chapter, but we're really the Midwest. Like we cover 12 states. The Chicago chapter covers Indiana, it covers Minnesota, it covers Ohio, it covers all of these places. We covered Detroit, and there's so many people that don't even reach out to apply or to see if they can be a part of it, because if you're from Detroit, do you want to be part of the Chicago chapter? Right? No, right? So we've been trying to see, there have been a couple of proposals to try and make it the Midwest chapter. We're a legacy chapter, we're the third chapter, so there's a little bit of resistance on that front. But I do, in personal messaging, I try to let people know that we really are the Midwest chapter. Hugh Cleel from Golf Clap is an advisor to the board now this year. Gene Ferris is a governor on the board this year.
Gene the Governor. I
Gene
like
the
that.
Governor. Yeah. And frankly, 3 of us representing dance music, that's the most diversity we've seen on the board in that respect in a very long time.
It's amazing.
So we want to continue to show that it is possible if you just raise your hand and you say, I want to be a part of that. I want to advocate for change. So many people that I've gotten into the Academy have effectuated change in very positive and meaningful ways. Hugh Creel is on our advisory board for advocacy in DC, but he helps to talk with reps like on a national level. It's crazy.
Wow.
Hugh cares a lot about dance music.
Hell yeah.
Michael Brune, who's a Haitian dance artist in New York who has signed up, was the co-author of a proposal that got passed this year to create a new category for Best Global Performance, which meant a lot to him because that's what he would submit for.
He's a special producer, yeah.
He's a special producer.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying to get people involved who are going to put forth a little bit of extra effort and then see the returns, see the gains on it. So that's really what I hope to continue to do on a larger scale, is to just show that this is a place that really is for everyone. We are not the Recording Academy that your parents knew. We represent a new face that is youthful and vibrant and open to change and open to saying, these were the rules before, but fuck the rules. We're going to do things completely differently now and build something that we're all going to be super proud of.
Amazing. And congratulations to you again on earning that position, truly.
Thank you.
You're a great representative of Chicago and the Midwest and everybody involved. So cool.
And if anyone has more than 12 streaming credits, you should look into signing up and being a voting member of the Academy.
Answer my question. How do we get involved? Amazing. So cool, though.
Yeah, no, there is a litmus test that you have to pass. You have to have a certain number of credits in the same sort of category. So like most of my credits are producing and engineering, and they all have to come out within a certain time frame. So you have to show that you're relevant and that this is like your main thing.
Yeah.
Because the last thing that they want are more people that are like a dentist and they released an album on the side with their friends like 2 years ago. Do you know what I mean? That would technically give them enough credits, but it's not their main thing.
Are there dentists out there that are producing music?
I mean, there's a lot of people that have full-time jobs, but they have a band on the side.
That's true. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What will it take to get dance music on television then, you think?
It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. I mean, you have to look at it in the context of they televise maybe about a dozen categories.
That's true.
And 4 of those categories are core categories. Album of the year, song of the year, right? The super important ones. And we have almost 90 categories. I don't know what the exact number is because we added some this year.
Wow.
So it's probably just over 90 in total. And I would say that there are categories above dance music that should be televised that aren't. But categories like rock aren't really put on the, I don't think they're even on the telecast anymore, and that was phased out maybe 5 years ago as hip hop became more popular. So then, because it's all about the ratings, right? They want more people to watch. And so if you've only got 8 slots to fill out of 90 some, you're going to pick, the people that take up the most space on the radio.
So true.
It's not us. I mean, like, I hate to say it, but it's not us.
It's interesting to me because the electronic music industry is worth about $7.1 billion right now. And I don't think a lot of people look at the credits, and I've heard you talk about this a lot about Spotify, but I don't know how many people appreciate the fact that Lady Gaga's new album had Axwell and Chami and Burns on there, and S.G. Lewis produces a lot of Dua Lipa tracks. So when I think about dance music getting on television,
yeah, but how does the average person know those
That's
names?
what I'm saying. That's a hill I can't die on either.
Yeah. I have to recognize that the level of dedication that we have toward music is not the way
Nobody else cares. Do you guys care about that? I care about that,
Well, people have different hobbies, right? Like the same way I feel about music is probably how a lot of people feel about cooking or knitting or any of the other things that they do, like in their day-to-day life. And music is just something that they consume when they turn on a Spotify playlist or they turn on the radio in their car. And I have to be okay with that.
I have to be okay with the fact that people don't know S.G. Lewis made Dua Lipa song. And I'm going to a show front row November 26th at the Rave, okay?
Oh, but I love Dua Lipa.
Me too! That's what I'm saying! Gotta know who made the beat. Anyway, Lady Gaga's new album is fire, too.
She always picks amazing producers.
She does. I literally got Chromatica on vinyl. Actually, my girlfriend's mom got it for me because...
What?
Yeah. Thank God you're here. You've been a great point of conversation for me. But yeah, those are the things that I care about. But I think it's interesting because there are so many dance music producers that make the songs for the Grammy, things that get televised.
Sure. I think probably one of the most well-known crossovers that we have is probably Calvin Harris.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a god.
Yeah. I mean, especially in that era where it's like Calvin Harris and Rihanna and like that.
Oh yeah.
The whole mashup of him just being with like every superstar.
Every song he makes is a #1 hit. His most recent song, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a #1 right now.
I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He doesn't make anything that's not a #1.
No, he's so good. He doesn't care at all. He just loves making music and. Calvin Harris.
I know. I have one amazing, super awkward photograph with him because he's like a giant.
He is. He's so tall.
And I was not wearing heels that day, so I'm smiling, but I'm like at his chest. He's so tall.
He is so tall. The Scottish.
Yeah. The Scottish.
So this is Calvin Harris. Anytime he talks to the mic, I'm like, this is cool. Amazing. Danny, thank you so much for coming here today and talking with me in front of everybody.
Of course.
Last question. What's next for you? What's on the horizon?
Oh my gosh.
So much.
Well, I'm settling into the new role as president of the chapter and trying to look at what that next year is going to look like. I'm working on 4 tracks right now, collaborations.
Music, let's go.
And
it's been a while since you released a song, isn't it?
Yes. And I'm actually, as an exercise, I'm using all output plugins.
Oh!
Because I need to learn all the ins and outs. We didn't even touch on that, but yeah, I'm also editorial director at Output.
Well, this could have been a 7-hour interview. It was up to me.
But it's funny because Arcade, which is the flagship product for Output,
right.
I found out about Arcade years ago, opened it up once, and I have a traditional piano training background, and I didn't realize that it doesn't work like a piano, and I got super frustrated, and I was like, fuck this, whatever, I'm just going to let 30-day trial elapse and go back to the stuff that I know how to use.
Yeah.
And now I don't really have that. Well, I do have the option technically, but I'm like, I'm actually going to learn how to use the tools. And now that I'm not so frustrated, or I'm allowing myself to be frustrated, but work through it and figure out the solution, the tools are super powerful. And I'm having a lot of fun with them. So for anyone that doesn't know, Arcade is like if you had Splice in a plugin in your DAW, and you never had to leave, and you could actually choose your samples and manipulate them within the plugin. Like chop them up, reverse them, assign all sorts of macros, do all of this stuff without ever leaving the plugin. And they deliver fresh songs or fresh samples every single week. So every time you open it, it just syncs up with the cloud, and then it's like, oh, here are 200 new songs for you. It's really cool.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Gotta check that out. Flynn, did you take notes? You guys are okay, you guys are chatting. Okay. Yeah.
It's made from Arcade.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know which ones. Yes,
We gotta send it to Danny.
I'll show you.
I'll show you. That's awesome, though, Danny. I mean,
so I don't know. So that's what I'm working on. All of that. So basically, what I'm doing, but just times 10. So I'm also in the process of expanding my division at Output because it's been so successful. So I'm hiring underneath me now, which is nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Contributing to the music economy.
Yes, I'm creating jobs.
That's right. That's right. Guys, let's make some noise for Dani Deahl real quick. Who's this guy that joined in the back? I like this guy. Hey, man, what's your name? Vivek.
Vivek.
Vivek?
Yep.
Vivek, what's up, man? I'm Sherm. Go to ShermanTheBooth.com for all brand new episodes. That's all we got today. Danny,
Nice.
thank you so much.
Of course.
I appreciate it.
Woo!
Man, do I love Sherman the Booth. Oh, hey, I think you do too. Hope you enjoyed that piece of content. If you're looking for more, make sure to go to my YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any upcoming Sherman the Booth interviews, live sets, new music, exclusive artist interviews, Sherm's Word, sub-pack reviews, and more. This is your one-stop shop for everything entertainment. Cheers.